It was a pleasure and privilege to have been recently invited by the College Green Group, a leading Westminster strategy group, to produce a report on school improvement. The report, Better Schools, the Future of the Country, was formally launched to politicians, civil servants and the media on the 26th of June, but it is now a public document and a link is attached. Over the past 36 or so years since I first became a teacher, with one key exception, practically every aspect of schooling has changed. Teaching styles, inspection, exams, curriculum, the legal status of schools, and of course funding, which has gone up and up and up to 72 billion or whatever it is this year. But for all that change and for all that money, can we honestly say that we have a school system that is the envy of the world? Can we even say that we have a school system that is totally fit for purpose? Now, I mentioned that every aspect of schooling has changed bar one, and that one thing is not likely to change in the foreseeable future. And that is the remarkable power, the priceless value of the inspirational classroom teacher. We've all benefited from them, we've all known them. And yet more and more are leaving the profession early and fewer people are joining. And these statistics cannot be pushed under the carpet. The recent workforce survey showed that last academic year, 44,000 teachers, 9% of the profession, quit. And of those, only about 4,000, about 1 in 10, actually retired. Of new teachers, 1/3 quit the profession within 5 years. And I should argue it takes 5 years to make a good teacher. So we're not just talking about quantity, we're also talking about experience and quality. And in terms of recruitment at secondary level, the government targets for recruitment into secondary subjects has been missed every year for the past 8 years with one exception. And just to take the worst example, and admittedly it is the worst example, this year in physics, only 17% of teacher training places have been filled. How are we to grow the next generation of architects, engineers, and AI specialists if we cannot produce enough good quality, well-trained, well-qualified teachers? Or perhaps correction, if we cannot produce enough teachers. And so to the report. The report looks at 10 aspects of schooling and makes some 42 recommendations, all of which, bar a small handful, can be introduced at little or no cost to the Treasury. Many can be introduced straight away, all could be introduced within the next academic year. What is the report not? Well, it's not written from any philosophy of education point of view, other than from the point of view of practical hands-on experience and a very firm belief that all children can achieve. Not in the same way, not to the same extent, but I do firmly believe that all children can achieve. It's not written from any political point of view, and it is not a covert attempt to win votes, although there is a recognition and realisation that there are over 1 million votes in our schools. Had it been a covert attempt to win votes, it would have been full of fantasy ideas, such as that raised recently that we should give teachers a 1-term sabbatical every 5 years. Quite who is going to cover their lessons in an era of teacher shortage? Well, you'll have to ask those politicians. What the report is an attempt to genuinely raise standards, not in the terms of some narrow league table or metric, which seem to predominate these days, but to raise standards across the board for all schools, for all pupils. And the way that we can do that is to have 2 simple priorities, and those priorities form the mantra that underpinned my 18 years as a secondary head. And that is that if we really want to raise standards, we have to empower teachers to teach and pupils to learn. What a banal, trite thing to say, I hear some of you thinking. But how many young people have their education blighted because of poor behaviour? How many young people are doing courses that they not only fail, but they know they're going to fail a year or 2 years before they even get in the exam room? How many teachers are bogged down with non-essentials, bogged down with continual curriculum change, continually looking over their shoulders because they don't know where they stand on certain legal matters? How many schools do not have the full complement of permanent, well-qualified, well-trained, talented teachers? In any one of those scenarios, and many more, we have a situation where teachers can't teach and pupils can't learn. That must be the priority. Finally, when I started this report, I started by asking the key fundamental question. And that question is not, are we doing things right? The fundamental question is, are we doing the right things? With a supplementary, how do we know? Now, in no way is this an attack on current or previous policy, but it is a willingness, a boldness to question the status quo, and to question the status quo in order to make things better, because I have absolutely no doubt that we can make our schools better. And the starting point for that is for all involved with schooling, at school level, at MAC level, in Westminster, at policy level, for all involved with schools to work together to create a climate, a culture, an environment, a system in which all can flourish. Pupils can flourish and teachers can flourish, because of course it is the latter that dictates the former. And the environment, the system in which all can flourish, is that which has as its priorities empowering teachers to teach and pupils to learn. Please do have a look at the report and let me know what you think. Thank you.